You poured everything into building your store, late nights, weekends, money you probably couldn't afford to lose, and for a moment, maybe it started working. Sales were coming in, you were getting customers, and then something quietly happened that nobody warned you about. Those customers disappeared. They bought once, and you never saw them again. And instead of fixing that, you went back to running more ads, spending more money, chasing new people, burning through your budget just to stay exactly where you were. That cycle right there is why most online stores never actually grow. Not because the product was wrong, not because the market was bad, because of a retention problem that almost nobody talks about. Here is the thing most store owners discover way too late. Acquiring a new customer costs 5 times more than keeping an existing one. 5 times. So every time one of your past customers walks away and buys somewhere else, you are not just losing that sale, you are losing 5 future sales worth of marketing budget. Multiply that over a year, and the number is staggering. This is not a traffic problem, this is a loyalty problem. And the moment you start treating it like one, everything changes. Now, before we go any deeper, if you are already seeing where this is going and you know your retention is broken, there is a program linked in the description below that covers exactly how to fix this at a strategic level. It is not for everyone. Honestly, if you are happy with where your revenue is right now, it probably is not the right fit. But if you are watching this and something is already clicking for you, just keep that in mind. Let us talk about what is actually happening behind the scenes of your store. Picture this. Someone finds your product, maybe through an ad, maybe through word of mouth. They visit your site, they hesitate, they scroll around, they finally buy. That moment feels like a win, and it is. But what happens next is where most stores completely fail. That customer gets a generic order confirmation email, maybe a shipping update. And then silence, absolute silence. No connection, no reason to come back, no relationship built whatsoever. So when they need something again, they go back to Google, they find your competitor, and they buy there instead. And you spent money to get them in the first place and got nothing in return. This is not a small problem. This is the difference between a store that grinds forever and a store that compounds. And the reason most store owners miss it is because they are so focused on the front end, the ads, the traffic, the conversion rate, that they completely ignore what happens after the sale, the back end, the relationship, the part where the real money lives. Now here is where it gets interesting. Studies consistently show that increasing your customer retention rate by just 5% can increase your overall profits anywhere from 25% to 95%. Read that again. 5% better at keeping customers can nearly double your profits. Not your revenue, your profits. Because retained customers do not just buy again. They buy more, they spend more per order, they trust you more, they complain less, they refer people to you. They become the engine underneath your store that grows everything without you spending another dollar on ads. So what does a real retention strategy actually look like? Let us break this down in a way that actually makes sense for a real store that real people are running right now. The first thing you need to understand is that retention starts the moment someone buys, not days later, not in your next email newsletter. The second that order confirmation goes out, the relationship has either begun or it has not. Most stores send that confirmation email and that is it. That is the whole strategy. And then they wonder why people do not come back. What the top performing stores do instead is they send a confirmation that feels human. It does not sound like a robot. It sounds like someone who is genuinely excited that this person chose them. That single shift in how a post-purchase email feels creates a measurable difference in whether someone opens the next email you send. And whether they open that next email determines whether they ever buy again. But let us go deeper. Because after that first touch point, you need a sequence. Not a single email. A sequence. A series of moments that brings the customer back into your world, reminds them why they chose you, shows them other things they might love, and makes them feel like they are part of something, not just a transaction on a spreadsheet. When you build that sequence correctly, you are not chasing customers. You are pulling them back naturally. And the data behind this is overwhelming. Stores with structured post-purchase email flows generate on average 30 to 40% more revenue from their existing customer base compared to stores with no flow at all. Think about what that means for your specific situation. If your store is making $5,000 a month right now, that is an additional $1,500 to $2,000 sitting in your customer list that you are leaving on the table every single month. Not because those customers do not want to buy again, because nobody is giving them a reason to. Now here's the pattern most people miss when they hear about email marketing. They think it is about promotions, discounts, flash sales. And while those have their place, the stores that win at retention do something completely different. They lead with value. They send content that educates, entertains, or solves a problem for their customer. They build a reputation of being useful, not just promotional. And when they do eventually make an offer, their open rates are higher, their click rates are higher, and their conversion rates are dramatically better. Because trust has already been established. Because the relationship already exists. Here is a real illustration of how this plays out. Imagine two stores selling the exact same product at the exact same price. Store A runs ads, gets customers, sends no follow-up, and repeats that cycle month after month. Store B runs the same ads, gets the same customers, but then puts every single buyer into a thoughtful post-purchase sequence. 90 days later, Store A is still spending the same amount on ads to make the same amount of revenue. Store B has a growing base of repeat customers who are buying every 5 to 6 weeks without another dollar spent on acquisition. In 6 months, Store B is not just ahead. Store B is in a completely different category of business. That is the compounding effect of retention done right. Let us talk about something called lifetime value, because this is the number that most store owners have never actually calculated for their business. Lifetime value is how much a single customer is worth to you over the entire relationship, not just the first purchase. And when you do not know this number, you are flying blind. You are making decisions about ad spend, about pricing, about product development, all without knowing the most important metric in your entire business. The stores that know their lifetime value can spend more to acquire a customer because they know exactly how much that customer will return over time. That is a massive competitive advantage. And it starts with retention. So how do you actually increase lifetime value? A few specific things. Number 1 is personalization. When a customer feels like you know them, when your emails reference what they bought, when your recommendations feel tailored rather than generic, they engage more, they click more, they buy more. Personalization is no longer a luxury in e-commerce. It is the baseline expectation. The stores ignoring it are losing to the stores that are not. Number 2 is a loyalty mechanism. This does not have to be complicated. It does not have to be a full points program with a custom app. It can be as simple as a VIP tier where your best customers get early access to new products. Something that makes a customer feel like being a repeat buyer is worth something. Because the moment someone feels like they have earned a status with your brand, switching to a competitor becomes psychologically harder. That psychological stickiness is worth more than any discount you could ever offer. Number 3 is win-back campaigns. Every store has customers who went quiet. People who bought 6 months ago and have not opened an email since. Most stores ignore these people entirely. But a well-crafted win-back sequence, one that acknowledges the silence, reestablishes the value, and offers something genuinely compelling, can recover a meaningful percentage of those customers. And those recoveries cost you almost nothing compared to acquiring someone brand new. Now let us step back for a second and think about the emotional reality of what we are talking about. Because this is not just about numbers. This is about what your store actually means to you. You did not start this to spin your wheels. You did not sacrifice weekends and evenings and mental energy just to stay flat. You started this because you saw potential. You saw what it could be. And retention is the bridge between where you are right now and where you actually wanted to be when you started. It is not a marketing tactic. It is the foundation of a real business. And the stores that treat it that way, the ones that take retention seriously as a discipline, not an afterthought, those are the ones doubling their revenue without doubling their ad budget. Those are the ones that feel sustainable. Those are the ones where the owner can finally breathe a little because the business is working for them instead of the other way around. Here is the bottom line. If you are sending traffic to your store and not having a deliberate, structured strategy for what happens after someone buys, you are leaving enormous amounts of money on the table every single day. The customers are there. The opportunity is there. The only thing missing is the system, and that is exactly what the program in the description below is built around. Not theory, not generic advice you could Google, a real strategic framework that takes someone from wherever they are right now and shows them exactly how to build the retention engine that changes the math of their entire store. Most people will watch this video and do nothing. They will nod along, maybe save it, and go back to running ads tomorrow. If that is you, this program is genuinely not for you. But if something shifted while you were watching this, if you can already see the gap in your business and you are ready to actually close it, that link is there for a reason. Use it,